so the $400 worth of batteries that I have, I'm screwed with, basically. This video was never really something I thought we'd be making, but for the sake of helping even just one person out there, this needs to be done. As many of you may know, we purchased a Ronin MX back in 2016 and later made a review on it in early 2017. Not only did we have great things to say about it, but we highly recommended it to 60,000 people. And this is the problem. The Ronin itself, both the MX and its less expensive model, the M, are actually almost perfect gimbals for what they are. And at the time, they were decently affordable and really provided excellent results. So over the few years that we used it, we got some of our best work using our Ronin MX. It served us very, very well during that time. Now fast forward to 2018, where we both went to film school. I decided to purchase another Ronin, this time the M, to add to our fleet. So now fast forward again. Come 2021, here we are planning a trip to shoot a new video, and we needed to have all of our gear ready. So as usual, we did our routine check to see that everything was charged up and ready to go. Cameras, charged. Drones, charged. Ronin, this is where we started to run into problems. Our Ronin batteries were usually pretty great. They'd last us on average more than one shoot day each. So now here we go to charge them. Neither batteries deciding to take a charge. Charging them for a few hours, nothing. Overnight, still nothing. Multiple days on end, maybe they're just really dead. Absolutely nothing. So maybe this is a fluke. Well, no. We try the Ronin M batteries, which are the same thing and they'll work in either model. And these too won't take a charge. Very strange. So it's not like we kept these in a bad environment. They were always kept in their case in a climate controlled area, so there really was no reason as to why these wouldn't work. And as far as DJI products went, we have two Phantom drones whose batteries perform excellent and usually sustain decently low temperatures and hold their charge over a long duration of time, even when not in use, all due to their battery control system. So here we are, 4 dead Ronin batteries, and now 2 useless Ronins. So we hit Google for some answers, and we come to find that we actually aren't the only ones having this issue, and see that hundreds of other product reviews on Amazon and B&H show that about 85 to 90% of people are also experiencing Ronin batteries that simply won't charge without any explanation. So after reading these reviews and realizing that we clearly weren't alone in this scenario, we called DJI. Now, first, before you say anything, we knew that our Ronin MX was out of warranty at this point, but we wanted some answers as to why our nearly $2,000 and $1,000 gimbals turned into useless paperweights. And this is how that call went.
Thanks for calling DJI Technical Support. This is BN. How may I help you today?
Hi, my name is Nick. Just to let you know, I'm recording this call on my end as well. I'm calling in regards to my Ronin M and MX. It just seemed all 4 of my batteries on both Ronins just will not take any charge of any sort. So I don't know if you guys had something in place as to how the battery could kind of be like jump started again, or what's going on with the batteries.
So we do apologize on the issue that you're having right now. You mentioned that the battery of your Ronin M and the Ronin MX is not charging. We do apologize, sir, but if that is out of the warranty period, then we do not suggest to purchase a new battery.
So the the $400 worth of batteries that I have, I'm screwed with, basically. Okay, so it's evident. These batteries are clearly shot, not going to be replaced, and here we are. Need to leave for a shoot in just a few days. So we're left with one other option, right? Order new batteries for $130 at the time. And they actually recently just were bumped down to $95 each. So finding out how unbelievably expensive they were, we checked the reviews for the replacement batteries themselves, and lo and behold, they're showing up dead in arrival in most cases, or just completely dying within a few months. So at this point, out of options. Leaving for a trip, can't get new batteries because they're most likely going to be dead, or they just won't last more than a few months, and Now we officially have 2 dead Ronins, almost $3,000 worth of paperweights, and there's really no point in dumping $95 into a new battery each time one goes dead. And if you think maybe keeping them charged is the solution, well, that unfortunately seems not to work either, according to other online posts and reviews. So this just really isn't fair to everybody who purchased a Ronin. Whether your batteries are still working or not, they're most likely going to stop at some point or another. And if you think you might get away with having them warranted, that's not really going to work either, as DJI only offers a 3-month warranty on these batteries, which is pretty short. So at this point, there's really no hope for these things. No third-party options available for power. The only thing closest to this was an auxiliary power adapter to feed DC input into a plate that substitutes the original battery on the Ronin M series, but to no surprise, this is no longer in stock or being sold anywhere. So also, along with no hope in ordering genuine batteries, is why spend the $95 on a battery to have a high chance of it just completely dying? The only thing to do here is to buy an entire new gimbal. And the downside to that is finding a new gimbal that can support the weight of even one of our smaller camera setups is rather difficult and expensive. And DJI sadly is one of the only options for gimbals that can support cameras for the prosumer market. And yes, before you hop into the comment section, I know there's plenty of other things out there, but DJI has the superior build quality compared to many other products, and a lot of them perform rather well. So we ended up buying a Ronin RS2 Pro combo, and while you may think we're crazy for buying another Ronin, their later models after the M series seem to have held up really great over the past few years that they've been out. Only time will tell, but it's also evident that DJI knows how to make a solid battery, hence their drone batteries that are excellent at power management while in storage. But the sad part, DJI could have easily stood behind their product and fixed this battery issue and came out with a revised battery or firmware update, but instead, the M series was left abandoned, leaving people with this issue like us to buy an entire new gimbal or keep sinking money into these batteries that can stop working at any time. And not to mention, who knows how much longer these replacements are even going to be available for. Since they're proprietary, I can't imagine they're very cheap to make. And along with that, the M series is already discontinued. So it's very unclear as to what's going to happen with this M series anyway. When we went to purchase our RS2, we actually saw an MX on display at the DJI store at Paramus, New Jersey. But no shocker here, the battery had been removed from it. Go figure. So whether this is just a terrible design, quality control, or planned obsolescence, it's a really big shame that DJI let so many people down. After coming out with such a great and wonderful product, but not having a way to use it after a few years, really makes you just wonder how much power and control these large corporations have even after you own their products. Not even something like a firmware or software update that slows the performance down. This is a literal physical part needed to power the item on at all. So the bottom line here is to be careful. Don't get sucked into buying a pre-owned Ronin M or MX, whether it's online or local. You might think you're getting a good deal, but you may end up getting screwed like us along with many other people. And I need to add, before wrapping this up, this doesn't mean that every Ronin M or MX is bad. There are still plenty in use today. It just means that many people have had this issue, and too many people for it to just be a small issue. It's very sad that nothing's been done about it, but hopefully you caught this video before buying a pre-owned Ronin M or MX. Be careful, save yourself a headache and money in the long run. Sunforest Films. So also, one more quick thing. Before you go and say, oh, it's your fault, you didn't keep the batteries charged, you know, you gotta discharge them to this percent, that percent before you put it in storage. I mean, to not use something for, 4, 5, even 6 months shouldn't make the battery completely useless. I want you to go, if you are gonna comment something like this in the comment section, I want you to name one product that if you don't use it for a good maybe 3, 4, 5, even 6 months, that the battery's just completely shot. For something this expensive, this is just pathetic, and there's really no excuse. I mean, this part isn't scripted or anything. I don't know what we're going to use from this, but honestly, for being in our position where we don't have a lot of money or time to deal with this kind of stuff, this is extremely sad and unacceptable. To have a product that was so good and so helpful, and to just have it turned into nothing. The feeling of that, all the great stuff that we filmed with this thing, and to see it sit on a shelf now in its case, let alone 2 of them, to know how much money that was, how hard it was to work for that money, DJI should really be ashamed of themselves for putting something out like this and not even choosing to fix the problem. So you want us to go out there and buy a new gimbal or buy new batteries, but how do you feel for the people who have a hard time affording this stuff and make a living with this stuff? We were 2 students at the time who were so blessed and lucky to have this thing, and now it sits on a shelf. It collects dust. I feel bad for the people who actually have a company out there that rely on this thing to make money, and now here they are with some useless piece of junk. I mean, shame on you, DJI. Unbelievable. That's all I have to say. If you want to comment something in the comment section, whatever, that's fine. I just really needed to get that off my chest because this is really unacceptable. And for anybody to want to stand up to DJI like I have seen online, then shame on you. Shame on you for supporting a company who doesn't care about the customer. That's all I have to say. Peace out. I had to get that out. It was just on my mind.